Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for hanging with me on this Saturday. And if you went out of your way to like, comment, or subscribe, thank you. All right, so do you have chopped up grass all over your lake? We deal with this here on Guntersville. I've dealt with this on Okeechobee. Basically, any lake I've ever been to in Florida has this at some point in time. And there's a couple different strategies that I want to run by you. Now, obviously, punching, if you have that grass in shallow enough water, some type of topwater frog where you can cover a lot of water, because what is typically going to happen to your lake is there will be more fish because they have more places to hide. Less lures are going to be effective when there's chopped up grass everywhere because it's going to foul up your bait. So as a whole, the fishery will be better. Now, obviously, it's going to be a lot more difficult to catch bass when your casts are continuously being ruined throughout the day. But that doesn't mean there aren't a lot more fish out there to be caught. So covering water and finding where they're at. Now, this is a Teckle Sprinker frog, and the hookup ratio on this is absolutely god-awful. But this is more to locate fish. You will land some on it, but most of the time you're just locating where they're at, because every place out there, when you get in that real marshy, swampy, chopped up mat, there could be a bass. There could be a bass anywhere. And it's important to find them, and there's only so many baits that are going to work. So when you do get around them, obviously flipping is a great approach. Now, I have kind of a different strategy if I don't want to, spend all my time flipping and frogging. So here's what I do. This is a lot like tidal fisheries. So if you're familiar with tidal fisheries, this will make a lot of sense to you. So I will pick a general part of the lake. It can be 2 miles long of your river or lake or whatever it may be, and just consistently stay in that 2 mile portion. Now, how this relates to tidal fishery is go to the places when the chopped up grass is not blown in there. So go into your creek, and when you go in there, the west bank is going to be either full of grass or it's not going to have grass on it. And if there is grass on the west bank, then that means the east bank should be free to fish. So what I will do is I will have some places on the main river. I'll have some places back in the creeks, and then I will, like tidal fishing, hit them at the right time. So I may show up to one of these spots, one of my key juice stretches 3 times throughout the day. And I may only get to fish it 1 or 0 times throughout the day. But I will continuously show up. Once that wind shifts or once the wind picks up, then I'll say, okay, we'll go try that spot. And just have a lot of spots in a small area so you're not spending a lot of time running. And that's a lot like tidal fishing, where you just follow the tide. I'm basically following the grass getting pushed out of my places. And this is a lot easier said than done, because, you're not always going to have that part of the lake be fishing really well. So it is important to spend your time finding every good spot in a small area. Now, the grass is always green in bass fishing. You can go to a different part of the lake and it may be 10 times better than the part of the lake that I'm talking about, but you have to realize that it is a gamble. If you go to that better part and you can never get on any of the stuff you want to fish, you're really going to struggle. And this is the same thing if you are bank fishing. You got to have a couple different places to go if you are constantly having grass blown on your spots. So typically this grass, eelgrass, it's going to grow more on the main lake. In the creeks and stuff, they are a little bit more bare. Current is the one that is bringing this chopped up grass, and then it's replanting itself. As long as it's not like pushed back in the creeks, a lot of the creeks won't have as much of it in there, and you'll be a little bit more, fortunate to get to fish one of your spots. But that's my strategy for chopped up grass. The fishing as a whole is going to be worse, but there's going to be more fish. Like any lake or river that has a ton of cover, that's going to help the fishery, not so much the fishermen. Try that. Good luck to you guys, and I'll see you on the water.